All right, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? We are about that time, so I'm going to get started. I know that you guys have all been here nice and punctually, so I don't want to punish you for the other latecomers. The other stragglers can join us as they get here. We've got plenty of people here today. I've just seen that Kathy's joined us, Chad is here, Darren, David, Debbie, Dirk, George, Harold, Harold, George, Hendrik, Jeff, John. Everyone is here. This is brilliant. It's great to see so many people that are obviously excited about growing their business. I've already said in the emails that you've got over the past week or so that we're going to be sharing some of the marketing strategies that have worked for us here at Beacon. So I'm excited to give you a little bit of a peek behind the curtain and show you what we're doing. So basically a wee bit of quick housekeeping. The webinar itself is going to last for about an hour. It's going to be me, your host, Kevin McGrath. I am the co-founder and CEO of Beacon, and I'm broadcasting to you live here from sunny Belfast in Northern Ireland. So if you can see out that window, you probably can't with the light, but that's Black Mountain just behind us there. So beautiful Belfast. If you haven't seen it, then welcome to Belfast. Let me know in the chat where you guys are all from. Be really interesting to hear. Okay, we've got Jeff from Colombia. Nice. Thomas from Malaga. I've been to Malaga. Happy days. We got Brian from Southwest Florida. We've got a Londoner, Trinidadian, Montreal, Canada. Yes. Debbie's from Israel. This is so fantastic. I love meeting new people. And I can't welcome you all to Belfast individually, but hopefully you can get a little bit of a taste in today's webinar. We've got another Londoner. We've got Travis from South Africa, Julia from Western Australia. This is brilliant. Okay, the room is actually really filling up now, so we're going to start the webinar properly. As I said previously, my name is Kevin McGrath. I'm a co-founder, CEO of Beacon. Let me just move things around on the screen here. Yeah, so my background is actually in design. I studied interactive design at university, and I ran a web agency for about 6 or 7 years. And eventually we made the transition over to work full-time on our own products. Beacon was one of those products. Now that Beacon's been up and running for sort of 5 or 6 years, my role has transitioned really from design into more sort of thinking about like marketing and growth. So that's why a lot of the sort of theoretical stuff that I'll be sharing in the webinar today is really, it's all marketing tactics that we've used in Beacon to help grow the company. So we've got more than 30,000 people using Beacon at the minute. We're growing every day. It's a really exciting time for the company. And a big part of that excitement comes from the marketing strategies that I'm going to share with you today. So we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the webinar. I'm going to turn off my webcam here just to save a little bit of bandwidth, but I'll check back in so you can see the beautiful Belfast view later on towards the end of the webinar. So stick tight for that. So yes, where are we at? All right, so really I'm going to get straight into it today because I'm going to be talking a lot about lead nurturing today, but I want to start by just covering the basics. I want to talk to you about conversion rates. Does everybody know what conversion rates are? If you could just let me know in the chat, just the yes or no. Do you know, like, what is a conversion rate? Like when I talk about conversion rates, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, most people do. Like it's a fairly standard industry term at the minute. Does everyone know how to calculate their own conversion rates? Because I know a lot of people maybe know the theory, but they maybe haven't applied it to their own business. So if you know how to calculate, yeah, so Nathan's not sure how to calculate his own conversion rate. Like that's fair enough. It's not unusual at all. A few people do, a few people don't. That's grand. Like just so everyone's on the same page when we're starting off here, I'm just gonna give you a quick breakdown like of how to do it. It's really simple. Like it's basically the number of leads that your website generates divided by the number of visitors to your website. So if you got 20 leads from your website last month from say 100 visitors, then your conversion rate is going to be 20%. So it's that sort of basic arithmetic. So your conversion rate's 20%. And I think it's important to be aware of your conversion rate because it's really rare that someone's going to land on your website and immediately become a paying customer. In fact, according to research, apparently it can take up to 8 touches with a potential customer to turn them into an actual customer. I hate that phrase, touches, 8 touches. It just sounds a bit gross. Basically, you're going to have to get in contact with potential customers around about 8 times to turn them into actual customers. So in reality, like of this arrow from website visitor to paying customer, like the process isn't really that simple. Instead, it's probably going to look a bit more like this. Like even this is oversimplified, but just to get the point across, like when we're talking about conversion rates, we're talking about this step between visitor and lead. So if you can get someone's email address when they first visit your website, then they become a lead. And so once you have that email address, once you have that piece of contact information, you can stay in touch with the potential customer, you can build a relationship, and you can nurture them so that eventually they might become a paying customer. So while we're on the subject of conversion rates, what do you think the average conversion rate for a web page is? Let's do a quick survey. Let me know in the chat. What do you think the average conversion rate for a web page is? If you just have a guess and let me know in the comments box what you think. Yeah, so Thomas is saying very, very low. Dan is guessing 10%. John reckons 5%. Another John is between 1 and 2%. Catherine's saying 3%. Travis 5%. Yeah, like there's a pattern here. Everyone's guessing like fairly low numbers for conversion rates. So the number of leads generated from visitors to your website, everyone's thinking like between sort of 1 to 5%. And you're right. There was some survey done recently, some research, and the average conversion rate came back for an average website across all industries, came back at 2%, which like I know you guys aren't surprised by that, but like I think that's a really low number. Like 2% is a ridiculously low number. And I think in the marketing industry, we've almost just come to accept it like, oh, but you know, that's what conversion rates are. Like that's the industry standard. You know, we should aspire to get that 2%. But like I think if you're trying to grow a business on a 2% conversion rate, that is going to be really tough. Like let's just break that 2% number down and see how that works. So if you attract 100 people to your website and you have a conversion rate of 2%, you're going to get 2 leads. Just 2 leads. That is a tiny number of leads. Now, obviously, you're going to want to generate more leads than that. So most people's instinct is to increase the traffic to their site. So they might pay for some AdWords, you know, invest in some SEO or step up their social media game. So let's say that you do all of that, and over the course of a few months, you double the number of visitors to your website. At a 2% conversion rate, you're still going to end up with only 4 leads. Big deal. 4 leads is rubbish. Like, especially if you think about how much time and money it took to double your traffic. Like 4 leads is not like, it's not a good return on your investment. But what if we take a different approach? You know, what if we focus on the conversion rate instead? What if we could increase the conversion rate of your key web pages to 20%? So like that might sound like a big jump, but believe me, like it's a lot easier than 10xing the traffic to your site. So let's take a look at how that breaks down. So say if you get 100 visitors to your website, you increase the conversion rate to 20%, all of a sudden you've got 20 leads. Like 20 leads you can work with, like 20 leads you can build a business off. So like it might sound like a big jump, as I said, like increasing the conversion rate from 2% to 20%, but it is very doable. And that's what I want to focus on today in this webinar. I want to show you how you can increase conversion rates so that you can make more effective use of the traffic that you've already got. Because until your conversion rate, I think, is at least into double figures, like I don't think there's much point in worrying about more traffic to your site, because the truth is like your site isn't ready for more traffic if you've got a low conversion rate. In fact, I think that if you optimize for traffic before optimizing your conversion rate, you're basically pouring money or pouring water into a leaky bucket. All the money you spend in advertising and marketing will be a waste. So I want to help you to avoid that, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So with that in mind, how can we do it? How can we increase conversion rates so we can turn more visitors into leads? Well, I guess one solution would be to make the opt-in forms more obvious. Like we could do this, you know, when people come to your site, we could just hit them with a full screen pop-up just like this. But I would guess that most people who see this pop-up are just going to close it without thinking twice. And the truth is that they close this pop-up because there's no incentive for them to share their email address. Like, why would they? What's in it for them? Like, there's no obvious benefit to joining this mailing list. So how do we change that? How do we give people an incentive? How do we offer them something of value in exchange for their email address? So it's probably no surprise, but we like the lead magnet approach because lead magnets work under the basic premise that to get something, you have to give something. So let's see an example of that in action. This is a screenshot from an e-commerce website, and they're offering people a £10 discount in exchange for their email address. So they're paying for the email address in the form of a discount. But that's a lead magnet, you know, it's an incentive for a website visitor to share their email address. You give us your email address, we'll give you a discount in return. You know, it's reciprocal. People can get on board with that. It's a fair exchange of value. And you see this tactic quite a lot on e-commerce sites. So this example is from made.com. And again, you can see here that the discount is the lead magnet. It's a reward that you offer people for sharing their email address. And once you have the email address, this anonymous website visitor suddenly becomes a lead. You can put a name to this person, and then you can nurture them via email. So you're probably sitting there going that, yeah, we can't all afford to just pay people to join our mailing list. But that's the good thing, is that like this incentive, it doesn't have to be money. Like I know most of you probably don't run e-commerce stores. So I'm going to take a look at another example for you, just to prove that you don't have to pay people to get on your mailing list. So this is an example of a Beacon customer. So if you see the photo in the at the bottom there, that's Joseph. He's a Beacon customer. He's wearing the green there. So he runs a blog that helps people moving to Dublin to find their feet. So it's fairly niche. Like he doesn't have a big marketing budget. He isn't internet famous. He's just a regular guy with a blog. And you'll notice in the bottom corner, there's a link to this city guide that Joseph has prepared. The title's in Croatian there, but you get the idea. Like this is his lead magnet. So when someone clicks on that image, this pop-up will appear and it gives you a bit more information about the city guide. And basically, it's everything you need to know about surviving in Ireland. Like it's filled with practical information about everything from visas to recruitment, like accommodation, transport. You know, it's jam-packed. It's about 50 pages long. And to be honest, like the amount of genuinely useful information in this guide is quite staggering. So when the reader enters their email address, they get sent a copy of this, you know, beautifully designed PDF. And this is Joseph's lead magnet. It's a city guide. So I can almost hear you screaming across the internet. And I know what you're thinking. Like a city guide, that's not as good as money. Like you can guarantee that the conversion rate on the city guide isn't going to be as good as the conversion rate on like a, you know, free money opt-in form. But you would be surprised, because when you look at Joseph's results, you'll find that in the space of just 14 days, Joseph generated 712 leads at a conversion rate of 25%. So that means that every fourth person that visited his website joined his email address. Like they all became leads just by visiting his website, getting this guide, and then Joseph can communicate with them now that he has their email address. So let's break that strategy down so you can see how Joseph did it and how you can replicate that success for your own site. So if the definition of a lead magnet is to give something of value in exchange for an email address, then Joseph delivered 100%. In my opinion, I think the best way to give people something of value without giving them money is to help them with a problem that they're currently experiencing. So if someone is having difficulty with something and all they have to do is hand over their email address to get a solution to that problem, then most people are going to do that without thinking twice. Like it's a no-brainer. So imagine some of the visitors to Joseph's website are tech workers. So Dublin has like a booming tech scene and there's a lot of jobs going. But if you hadn't been to Dublin before, you probably wouldn't know what to expect. So Joseph offers them a really simple solution to their problem. He says, here's a handy download that will literally save you hours of research and worry. And all I ask in return is your email address. It's a bit of a no-brainer. So if you can just put yourself in the shoes of like a website visitor who is potentially a tech worker from Croatia, they're coming to Joseph's website with all sorts of like feelings of like anxiety and nerves and stress. And then all of a sudden, this website just takes all of those negative feelings away by giving them all the answers to all the unknowns. Like that's a huge boost of goodwill that you're giving people with this free guide. So, they're very happy to share their email address in exchange for that. So for anyone watching this webinar, if you want to apply this strategy to your own website, you need to be very clear about who your customers are, what problems they're experiencing, and how you can help them with those problems. So now the question that I usually get around this time is like, okay, I can sort of see why lead magnets would work. So like, do I just need to create one, or, how many lead magnets do I actually need to create in order for this strategy to work for me? And the truth is, you're going to need quite a lot because the more lead magnets you create, the more leads you'll generate. So it's not really a case of having one lead magnet and stopping there. Instead, like HubSpot, in fact, they did some research and they found that the number of leads generated increased by 450% when websites increased the number of opt-in forms from 1 to 40. And like it's pretty staggering, but it makes absolute sense. So yeah, like increasing your conversion rates will get you more leads, but also increasing the number of opt-in opportunities will also get you more leads. And if you can do both, then you'll be laughing. So you're probably thinking that like I've just dumped a lot of extra work on your lap, like I'm telling you to make lots of lead magnets to generate more leads. You're probably thinking like, how many lead magnets am I going to have to make? But don't worry, like there's a trick to it, and it's not as difficult as it might seem. It's a fairly easy strategy. It feels like a bit of a cheat. So that's basically what I'm going to show you now. So the easiest way to increase the number of lead magnets on your site is to use the content upgrade strategy. I don't know if you're familiar with the content upgrade strategy, so I'll just give you a quick breakdown. Content upgrades are basically lead magnets on steroids. So I'll show you how that works for our own site. This is a strategy that we use. So this is a screenshot from our blog, and this is a post about how to create customer personas. And you'll notice that right after the introduction, there's this yellow box. Now the text in that box reads, download your free customer persona template here. This template is our lead magnet, and it was made specifically to accompany this individual blog post. So if you take this lead magnet and like put it on our homepage, it wouldn't really make sense. But when it's placed within this blog post, the two go hand in hand. So the post is all about customer personas, and it's largely theoretical. It explains what a persona is and the benefits of using personas. But the lead magnet that we offer with this article, it helps people to implement the theory for their own business. And that's why it's so effective. Like when people read the blog, they're primed to take action. The lead magnet is sitting right there. So there's an even greater chance that people will download it. And that's why you'll see higher conversion rates for content upgrades than other opt-in forms like landing pages. Does that make sense? Have I lost you? You can let me know in the chat if the theory behind content upgrades makes sense. I would appreciate that, because I don't want to just rattle through this webinar just for the sake of getting it done. I want to make sure that people are following along, just so that you can get the strategy. Okay, Debbie's on board. Makes perfect sense. Nathan gets it. Thomas is asking, we're working a bit like what you're explaining, but any thought on how we get people on board to a bit fewer drip campaigns? I'll be speaking a bit more about drip campaigns later. So address that then. Mark gets it, Al gets it. Yeah, Long saying it's general inbound marketing tactic. Yep, absolutely is. Cool. Okay, we're on board. So that's content upgrades. And basically, like when someone's on our site and they click that yellow box, this pop-up will appear. And when they enter their email address, they get sent a copy of this, beautifully designed PDF. So what we try to do is tick all the boxes, create a useful lead magnet that solves an immediate problem. It's something that's well designed, and we hope that it builds our authority as a marketing software company. But do you want to know what the most important thing about this lead magnet is? It works. It really does work. Like this particular blog post had a conversion rate of 22%. That's more than 10 times the average conversion rate of a website. And to be honest, like that's not particularly unusual. A 20% conversion rate is fairly standard for a content upgrade. And this is a screenshot from one of our Beacon dashboards. This is our own account. And because this is a tactic that we've been using on our blog for a while now, you can see how high the conversion rates are. Like, fair enough, there's a few turkeys in there. Like there's one conversion rate at 3%, but it's still above average. And to be honest, having this type of information on a dashboard like this means that you can see what works and what doesn't. And then you can sort of, make adjustments based on that. And I think to have that sort of insight to your marketing strategy is absolutely invaluable. So does everyone know how to set this dashboard up within Beacon? Have you all had a chance to set up a content upgrade yet? So just let me know, just so I can get a bit of a sense. Yeah, so Dan, this purple dashboard, that's within Beacon. Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought. Nathan, Julian, Brian, Catherine, Long, Kathy, all haven't had a chance to do this yet. So okay, I'm gonna jump into Beacon actually just to show you how to do this, because it's a fairly new feature. So I just want to give you a quick tour of how this works. So bear with me. I'm gonna minimize this. Okay, so just can you confirm that you can see my Beacon dashboard now? Yeah, okay, cool, you can see it. Happy days. All right, so to get to that purple dashboard that I just showed you, you want to click on this Manage Lead Capture link at the top. And this is my test account. This is just a dummy account. So as you can see, like it will give you a list of like all the leads that each opt-in form has generated and the conversion rate to go with it. But that's the dashboard. First, we have to create a content upgrade. So to do that, you just click on this big yellow button, Create New Lead Capture. Then you'll be asked to choose which, you know what, I'm gonna take a slightly different tactic. I'm gonna go back to the main Beacon dashboard. So this is the main Beacon dashboard, and you can see I've created 3 lead magnets already. This is a resource guide, this is a checklist, and this is a beginner's guide. So say that if I wanted to create a content upgrade for any one of these publications, I would just click the Publish button, and then I'm going to select Enable Lead Capture, and I'm going to select the Content Upgrade option. I'll then get a view of some different templates that I can use for the, the trigger that was in the blog post. Like for the example I showed you, it was this yellow box. So let's just, let's pick this one for the trigger. And what happens then is like Beacon creates, this is the lead capture editor. So then you can amend and you can customize how this trigger looks. So if you wanted to change the text, you just, change the text here. If you wanted to change the color of the button, you just do that here. It's fairly similar to the main Beacon editor. If you wanted to, let me see, change the background color of that yellow box, you can do that. Or you can show like a thumbnail image of the lead magnet itself. Like we even have this nifty little 3D option here, so you can show like a 3D cover image of your lead magnet. So essentially, this is the trigger that will be embedded in your blog post. So once you've got that looking the way you want to, you just go to the next step, and that's to design what the pop-up looks like. So when someone clicks the trigger, they'll be shown a pop-up that looks like this. Again, you can customize all these things, like you can change the color of the headline, you can change the style of that thumbnail image. So I'm going to change that to like a 3D book again. I can change the background color of the container. So, you get the drift. Like it's all laid up in the different steps here. So the first one, you're creating the trigger. Number 2, you're creating the pop-up. Number 3, you're customizing the thank you page. Number 4, you can customize the confirmation email. So this is essentially the email that people get whenever they opt in to get your lead magnet. You can connect to your favorite email marketing provider. So I know we had one of the questions earlier. Who was it? Just scrolling back up. Yeah, Thomas was asking about setting this up with drip campaigns. So you can integrate with drip. You can see we've got this set up with our main drip account, and then you can apply tags in your drip account. And then once you're ready, you just hit publish. And all you have to do is grab this code, copy that, and then go into WordPress or whatever your blogging software is and paste that code in. And then I'll just show you actually and a few examples on our blog. So that's our most recent post. And you can see that's an example of a content upgrade that we've done recently. So I'm just going to check in with the questions here, make sure I'm not missing anything out. Let me see. Okay, we have one. RS has asked, I tried to add bullets to the content upgrade box and there wasn't enough room. Okay, I can definitely take a look at that for you. I'll just make a note of that. Julian's liking what they see. Brilliant. Dan, does it connect with HubSpot? It does. This lead capture doesn't connect with HubSpot at the minute, but we are working on a HubSpot integration for that. Catherine Brown is asking, it looks like it integrates with MailChimp. Does it integrate with ActiveCampaign? Yes, it does indeed. I'll just show you the list actually of all the integrations that we have. So underneath the integrations tab, if you go to providers and you go to add a new provider, you can see that we integrate with MailChimp, Drip, ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, MailerLite, Campaign Monitor, and Aweber. So checking back in with the questions, John is asking, have we tested if the flat or 3D has higher conversions? We haven't actually tested that. Yeah, it would be an interesting experiment to run actually. So yeah, must make a note of that too. Anders is asking, do we connect with ConvertFox/Gist? We not yet. We are making a note of all the integration requests that we get. There's quite a lot of email providers out there, and we do hope to integrate with more of them. But at the minute, ConvertFox is on the list, but we don't as yet integrate with it. Catherine's asking, will there be a replay? Yes, there'll be a replay. I'll be sending a video link to this, the recording of this webinar tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. Thomas is excited about the MailerLite integration. That's good to see. Catherine's excited about ConvertKit. Yes, Maria's saying, I never realized how easy this can be. Yeah, that was our whole goal with this tool, is to just simplify the content upgrade setup. Like it's a really powerful strategy, but it's fairly simple. So we didn't want to overcomplicate it. So the idea is that you should be able to create your own content upgrades for your blog, like this one, in a matter of minutes. So yeah, I'm excited that you're excited about that. Let me see. Long is saying, I got to say, this is more convenient than the way HubSpot taught us. Making a whole landing page for each lead magnet is not necessary. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Sometimes it is appropriate to create a separate landing page for your lead magnet, but then you're going to have to start thinking about driving traffic to that landing page. The thing I like about the content upgrade approach is that, you're already promoting your blog naturally. So if you can include a lead magnet for a specific blog post, you're going to benefit from that high traffic already, and conversion rates are going to be higher because the lead magnet is relevant to the blog post. We've got some more integration requests, guys. I'm going to take a note of all these integration requests. And then I will absolutely, we're going to try and work in as many of them as we can. Let me see. Okay, so I'm up to date on questions. So I'm wary of time here, so I'm going to jump back in. So yeah, that was a content upgrade technique, and basically to create your content upgrade, you're going to your main Beacon dashboard, you're clicking publish, and you're enabling lead capture, you're clicking content upgrade. So that's that. Now let me jump back into the slides here so we can stay on course. Yes, so just to recap, a content upgrade is when you combine a blog post with a lead magnet. So remember that it can't be any lead magnet. It should be directly related to the blog post. You know, it should complement and enhance the post so people are more likely to download it. Yeah, so the other thing that I want to mention is about generating leads directly from social media. So I understand that, like, if you're not blogging very much, then content upgrades aren't really going to be much use to you. And if that's the case, then I want to show you a technique for generating leads directly from social media. So this is our Twitter profile, and you can see that our pinned tweet here, it's a link to a beginner's guide to content marketing. So that's a resource that we've put together to help explain the basics of content marketing. Now, I know that a lot of our potential customers are practicing some form of content marketing or inbound marketing. So we want to help them get better at that. So when someone clicks that link, they'll be brought straight to the content marketing guide, but they won't actually be able to read it until they enter their contact information. So the trick here is that, like, once they enter their information, they'll get immediate access to this content marketing for beginners guide. So essentially the guide will be unlocked when they enter their contact information, and they can read it straight away. You know, they're not waiting for an email, they're not waiting for a double opt-in or anything like that. They'll get immediate access to the content. So the theory here is that since there's less steps for the user to go through in order to get the lead magnet, then conversion rates are going to be higher. So you can see, like with the traditional opt-in flow, there's about, 5 or 6 steps just to get the lead magnet. But with this link lock feature that we've created in Beacon, there's only 2 or 3 steps. So that makes a big difference to the reducing the dropout rate in your funnel. So your conversion rates are again going to be higher. So that was that's a link lock in Beacon. And again, I'm guessing a lot of you haven't tried the link lock feature yet. If you could just let me know in the chat. Again, it's a new feature. So if you haven't tried link lock, I'll maybe just show you. Okay, yeah, people haven't tried it. That's okay, that's fair enough. I'm going to jump back into my browser here just to give you a demo. So again, I'm going to go back to my main Beacon dashboard. I'm going to choose any one of the lead magnets that I've already created, and I'm going to click the publish button. Again, I'm going to click this option on the left-hand side to enable lead capture. And I'm going to select the link lock option here on the right-hand side. I'll choose a template. So I don't know, I'm going to choose this one here. And again, you can get a preview of what the pop-up is going to look like. So remember, there's not going to be any trigger in the link lock flow because, well, basically this isn't being embedded on your blog. This is just on the Smart PDF itself. So this is what the pop-up looks like. You can send an email as well. Again, you can integrate with all our normal people. MailChimp, Drip, ConvertKit, Campaign Monitor, MailerLite, Campaign Monitor, ActiveCampaign, and Aweber. I'm repeating myself, but yeah, that's the gist of it. And then if you go to publish, I'll just print test, and then I can activate this. So basically, if you share this link with your audience, I'm just going to copy this link, and I'm going to open up a new browser window. And if you share that link and open it up, you can see that you can't actually read. You can see the publication behind, but you can't scroll down to read all of it. You can't get rid of this pop-up. Basically, you need to unlock this resource, and you do this by entering your name and email information, opting in, and then hitting submit. And once you do that, you get instant access, to the entire lead magnet. So this is a really nice feature. This is one that we're quite proud of. Basically means that you no longer need a website to start generating leads. You don't need to set up landing pages. You don't need to set up a blog post. You can basically take this link and share it wherever you want, and you can start generating leads with nothing other than a Beacon account. So I'm going to jump back into the questions here and make sure that I haven't missed anything. Mark is asking, is all this functionality is available to all of us? Yes, all these features are available in your accounts now. This is, this is free. This is all part of your existing account. You don't need to pay any extra, or you don't need to upgrade anything to start using this content or to start using these features. So you can start using them today. Maria is asking, does LinkLock only work with Facebook? Can you also share it to other social media platforms like Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter? Maria, you can share this wherever you want. Basically, anywhere you can share a link, you can share LinkLock. You're just copying and pasting. So you take this link and you copy that in, and then paste it wherever you want. So yeah, any social media platform at all. So Catherine likes the look of LinkLock. That is quite the tongue twister. Julian thinks that this looks pretty awesome. Catherine is asking, is it mandatory that, I've lost it. Is it mandatory that the subscriber has to check the box to receive emails? Like, this is something that we do for GDPR, because we're based in Europe. A lot of our subscribers are based in Europe, but you can turn that option off if you want to. So underneath the form option, you can toggle off the need to either opt or give consent or not. So yeah, you can turn that off. Okay, I'm struggling to keep up with all the questions here. Please bear with me. So Debbie thinks this looks cool. John is asking, do people post those links in their social media accounts? Yeah, like they do. So they're handy for like things like pinned tweets or to use in your profile. Basically, it's a good way of, like, traditionally it's quite hard to convert social media followers into leads, because it's hard to, like, the platforms like Facebook and Twitter, they're generally quite closed down, and they don't really let you do, anything like email opt-in within the platform. So we hope that LinkLock can, be a bit of a route around that problem. So yeah, people are using it already. And to be honest, one of the reasons why we're doing webinars like this is because we want more people to start using these features. I think a lot of you are probably of the notion that these features were available in your Beacon account. You didn't necessarily know a lot about them. So now, hopefully, you can go and try them out. John is asking, is any branding for Beacon anywhere? No, it's not actually. It's not, because, yeah, it might be at some point on our free accounts, but at the minute, if you're on a paid account, then no, there's no Beacon branding anywhere on it. Nathan's asking, what type of ongoing support is provided for all these features? Same support as ever. You can get us up here through the support icon. So if you've got any problem using any of these features, please let us know via the support options. Mark is asking, does this work with custom domain? Yes, it does. Anders is asking, if your email provider isn't yet supported, can you send details using Zapier? Not at the minute. It is on our list. We do want to add a Zapier integration, but there's quite a lot of these to get through. But we are gradually adding more and more. And if your integration isn't yet provided, you can download the leads from Beacon as a CSV file, and you can add them to your email account as standard. Danny is asking, I'm just beginning to use Beacon. Can you direct me on how to begin learning your program? Yes. Listen, while everyone's here, if you go to help.beacon.by, there's this getting started guide. That's the best place to start. You'll also notice that we've got lots of video tutorials. So that's the best place to start. In fact, I'm just going to pop that in the chat. If you're new to Beacon, have a little look in there. More questions. Bob thinks this looks great. Thank you, Bob. We think it looks pretty good too. We got the agency, or this is Thomas is asking, we got the agency plan, but where do we set up new clients? You don't set up clients within Beacon, so that there is no functionality to do that. Beacon is never intended really for the clients to use. It's intended for agencies to use on behalf of clients. John wants to know if there'll be a replay of the webinar. Yes, indeed, there absolutely will. I'll be sending out a link to this video recording tomorrow, so keep an eye on your inbox for that. Maria is asking, or well, she's saying the cheat sheets are hot. That is true. We don't have a cheat sheet template in the resources section now, but you know what? I'm going to make a note of that and see if we can make some cheat sheet templates, because I agree, they're useful to have. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Nigel, yep, there's definitely going to be a replay of the video. Mark is asking, can we use custom subdomains per project page, etc.? So if you have the agency account, you can set up multiple custom domains, like one for each of your clients. Yes, so you can do that. Anders is loving the clean design throughout Beacon. Anders, I appreciate that. We spend a lot of time on the design. We want to make sure that the user experience of Beacon is nice. So I'm glad that you appreciate that. Debbie is asking, she has a regular plan, but she wants to know more about the agency plan. I would say that the best way to learn more about that is just to go to our pricing page. Ooh. I can nearly type today. So yeah, agency is $99 per month. And if you go down to see this compare plans option, you can see all the features that are available in agency compared to our other plans. So beacon.by/pricing, that's the best place to start if you want to start comparing our plans. Maria is asking if we could include checklist templates as well. We have checklist templates. So if I just go back into the main Beacon dashboard, and if I click to create a new lead magnet, you can see that I can create a checklist. So there's plenty of different templates there for checklists. So yep, you can do that already. Ooh. So that's that, and then you can edit all these checklist items. So yeah, that's how you do that, Maria. Okay, before I get into any more questions, I just want to show you, you notice now that I have generated one lead for this account and we have a conversion rate of 5%. That's because somebody has opted in, I opted in to the link lock. So if I go into the lead capture dashboard, manage lead capture, you can see that the link lock that I just created there for demonstration purposes has generated one lead. And because I'm the only person that's went to that link, the conversion rate is 100%. So that's good to see that just demonstrated for you. So guys, the questions are coming in thick and fast, but I'm going to jump back into the slides just so make sure that I get through all the content, and then I'm going to jump back into questions towards the end of the session. So let me just do that. All right. Yeah, so that was the link lock feature in Beacon. So if you need to generate leads and you don't have time to set up a landing page, or if you're very active in social media, then this is the feature for you. I would recommend that you go in and check that out straight away. So we're pretty much at the end of the slides, but I just wanted to do a quick summation of everything that we've covered so far today. Basically, more lead magnets equals more leads. The more lead magnets that you create, the more leads you'll generate. So I know that this is something that comes up a lot when I speak to Beacon customers, is that they only create sort of 1 or 2 lead magnets and they leave it at that. But if you're really serious about turning your website into, a high-powered, conversion optimized lead generating machine, then you need to be creating multiple lead magnets. You need several for your social media now with the link lock feature. You need a lead magnet for every blog post with the content upgrade feature. And you still need to be creating those site-wide lead magnets to use with landing pages as well. So guys, if there's one thing I want you to take away from today, is that you need to create, more than 1 or 2 lead magnets, because more quantity will bring more leads in. I also want you to remember that content upgrades have naturally high conversion rates. So if you're working on your next blog post and you think of perhaps a lead magnet that can complement the blog post, then make that into a content upgrade, put it in the blog post, and I guarantee you're going to see some high conversion rates. And on that note, actually, I want you to really pay attention to your conversion rates. Use the lead capture dashboard in Beacon to track your conversion rates so that you can see how effective your strategy is over time. You can see what's working and what's not working. And then you can adjust your strategy based on what's working. So you don't want to just keep doing the same thing day in, day out. If it's not working for you, you need to switch it up. And the dashboard within Beacon makes it easy for you to do that. So again, another quick tip is to segment leads based on opt-in scenario. So if someone, like say if you have 10 or 20 different lead magnets on your website, you can tell a lot about a subscriber based on what lead magnet they generated or what lead magnet they downloaded. So say if, like, I don't know, you're running a fashion site and somebody downloads a lead magnet about men's fashion, then you can segment that subscriber as someone who's interested in men's fashion. It's probably not relevant to send them content about women's fashion, for example. It's a really basic example of that, but you get the idea. Lead magnets give you a hint about the interests of the person behind the subscriber, so always keep that in mind. And the final bonus tip that I want to leave you with today is to have a think about trying out your social media opt-ins. Like the link lock feature is pretty new. The uptake has been good so far, but I know there's a lot of potential there for people to generate more leads from their social media profiles. So I want everyone on this call today to get an idea, to get your social media link lock up and running. And let me know just how successful you are with it. I want to hear about how many leads you generate with link lock and with content upgrade. All right, so I'm going to jump back into the chat here just so I can see some more of the questions. Dan, there's not going to be any more case studies today. Unfortunately, we've run out of time a little bit. But if you're interested in more case studies, you should definitely check out. Oh, actually, I do have a couple more. So these are like mini case studies. So this is Heather, who runs like a training consultancy. She upgraded her Beacon account a while back, and she's now generating 3 times more leads from her blog posts than she was previously. She's using the content upgrade technique, and since she started using that, her conversion rates for her blog posts increased from 0 to 3% up to 5 to 10%. So that's like almost a 3-time lift in conversion rates just from using the content upgrade strategy. Our friend Emil from Sleeknote, they use Beacon to create their lead magnets, and like for them it's a big time saver. Obviously they don't have to go to the design department to create lead magnets. Instead they can do that in the marketing department, and they reckon it saves them about 60 or 70 hours a year. So it's a big time saving. It's time that they can use in the marketing department on their actual campaigns that are going to make a difference to their bottom line. So that's Beacon as a speed saving tool. And this is our friend Joseph again. This is the guy that's top of the leaderboard at the minute. Like, he's generated more than 700 leads in less than 2 weeks at a conversion rate of 25%. So yeah, if anyone out there on the webinar today can beat Joseph, I want to hear about it. If you can get better than 25% conversion rate, if you can generate more than 700 leads in a short time space, I definitely want to see that. So yeah, that is all the, oh, let me see, I lost my screen. Hold on. Yeah, okay, so I'm back in the chat now. If you have any more questions, guys, we have a bit of time, so just please feel free to drop them in the chat. So Mark wants to know, where can I see what plan I'm on? If you go into your profile, Mark, just under the settings, and then go to subscription, it'll tell you your plan there. This is my dummy account, so there's no subscription information in there. Thomas wants to know how we set up the specific domains per project on the agency plan. He's going to, Thomas, email me definitely about that, and we'll get you set up. Like, it's fairly complicated now with HTTPS, but yeah, definitely let me know on email and we can pick that up. David is asking, when someone goes on a link lock and gets the lead magnet, is there a tag to prove they're agreed to GDPR terms if they go on to upload into a CRM or email service like Gist? What we do is we keep a log of the consent text and the time. So you can see in this dashboard here that the name of the person that's opted in, the fact that yes, they have given consent by ticking that box, and this is exactly the text that they agreed to, and this is the exact time that they opted in. So we keep track of all that, and you can pass tags into your third-party email marketing list as well. So yeah, that's fine. You can definitely do that. Nathan is thanking me for a very informative session. Thank you, Nathan. We definitely aim to please. Mark saying he's getting errors when checking his account. Mark, just email me and I'll have a look into your account specifically. Debbie says this is a very refreshing webinar. All content, no hype. Yes, that's what I like to hear. Thank you so much for joining us. Maria's asking, can we do more webinars like this? Yeah, definitely. Like, this is something that we're going to be doing a lot more of. Like, I get a real kick out of doing these webinars, and it makes me, like, it's the best way for me to speak to our customers, which, you know, I really do enjoy. So yeah, we're going to try and do one of these every month from now on. So yeah, absolutely. In fact, if anyone has any requests for topics they'd like to cover in a future webinar, either let me know in the chat or, you know, jump back in via email and just let me know. Let's see, Dan has said, great stuff. Beacon had fallen off my radar, but now I'm super excited to jump back in. Yes, Dan, glad to have you back. Anders is asking, do you have a place where we can follow the progress, estimated time of new integrations, features, etc. for Beacon? Anders, we don't have a public roadmap, but we do email out periodically when we're adding new features, just to keep you in the loop. Catherine is asking, what's the difference between Smart PDF and PDF download? I'm glad that you asked that. And to be honest, the best way that I could explain that is through a handy video. So this video is the key to it. So if you go into our help section, just search Smart PDF and watch this video. Basically, a Smart PDF, it lives in the browser, and the traditional PDF you can download to your computer. So the Smart PDF means that you can play multimedia in the PDF. You can play GIFs in it. You can. It's optimized for smartphones. You can track analytics, and you share it with a simple link. Whereas with the traditional PDF, like, you don't get any of those good benefits, but you can download the file or attach it to emails. That's a whistle-stop tour. But go to help.beacon.by, type in Smart PDF, and you want to go for this one here, Smart PDF versus traditional PDF. Okay. Danny's asking, do we offer these training very often? This is so helpful, Danny. We are absolutely going to do these more often. RS is asking, what are our plans for the future? Probably just going to grab some dinner after this, to be honest. It's nearly 7 o'clock here in Belfast, so yeah, nothing too exciting. Al is saying that's a great webinar. Thank you. It would be great to see a session on user guest guide, like Airbnb welcome kit for guests. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's definitely something to think about. I'm not sure about the sort of lead magnet potential there, but yeah, I'll definitely have a wee think and see if there's anything we can do. Yeah, how do we think about that? But any more questions? Does anybody have anything they want to share with the group while we're all here? Let me turn my camera back on so I can say bye to you properly. We've only got a few minutes left. Let me see. It's 5 to 7. So I've got 5 to 7 here in Belfast, sunny Belfast. So if you have any questions, I'll be sticking around for the next 5 minutes. But other than that, we're pretty much done. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we're going to see more of these in the future. RS is asking, are you introducing more graphical items and layouts in the future? Need more easy to visualize graphical items for easy reading? Yeah, potentially. There's nothing, don't have like immediate plans for anything like that at the future, but we always are, expanding and updating the templates of the main Beacon editor. So yeah, we'll definitely, we'll always be updating that. It's not just going to stay as it is forever. John is saying this will get me back to start using Beacon. Out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, I know the feeling, John. Mark has just emailed me. Thanks, Mark. Maria says thanks. Poppy's glad she joined the webinar. Poppy, I'm delighted that you were able to join us. Anders enjoyed the webinar. David, thanks, Kevin. Time for tea. Great, useful webinar. Thank you, David. Which magnet, this is Patrick is asking this, which magnet would we use for like our Facebook pages? Well, it depends on who your audience is. So for example, like I have a publication here in my dashboard that is like, say, I don't know, if you're a personal trainer, then this is a resource guide that I created, and it's basically 10 pieces of equipment you can use to get fit without paying a monthly gym subscription. So if you were a personal trainer on Facebook, then a resource guide is a good one to start with. Really, like you can do a resource guide for any industry. In fact, like if you're a web designer, you could do like 5 WordPress plugins to help like improve the speed of your site. These are resource guides are essentially products that you recommend because people always like to buy products when they're people buy like to buy a solution essentially. So if you're recommending products that people can buy, then they're going to thank you for it. So I would say a resource guide is a good place to start if you're not sure. Travis has to run. Travis, thanks for sticking with us. Nathan, is there a way to create your own templates? Absolutely. Whenever you're creating any Beacon document, if you're on any of our paid plans, you'll see that if you go into this document settings, you can convert this document into a template. So you can create your own reusable templates. So you can absolutely do that. Ginny's asking, is there a replay? Yes, absolutely. There'll be a replay. Sorry, you got your time zones mixed up. That happens to me all the time, so don't worry about it. I'll be sending out an email tomorrow with a link to the video recording of this webinar. Catherine is saying that her big takeaway is there's no point in scrambling for more traffic until you have an impressive conversion rate. Catherine, I'm glad that is your takeaway, because that is the one thing I'm glad that you're taking away. So yes, all aboard the conversion rate hype train. I love it. Yeah, Catherine says the coolest feature is link lock. Yeah, it's one that we're quite proud of, link lock. I think it's quite original. Like not a lot of other companies are doing it. So yeah, I hope that our customers can sort of do interesting things, exciting things with link lock. Blaze is running on. Yeah, Blaze, don't worry. We'll be sending a link to the recording tomorrow. So yeah, happy days. Folks, we're about that time. Let me see. It's exactly 7 o'clock here in Belfast. A couple more questions coming in. I'm not gonna ignore you. Anders, are you working on more templates with elements for worksheets? We can do if you want. Like, this is like, we're open to suggestions. So yeah, I can definitely create more worksheet templates. Mark, we don't integrate with Usine. I don't know what that is. Debbie says, this was fabulous timing for me as I start a completely new blog next week. I'm going to start using content upgrades immediately, and we'll run a case study to show how well they work. Yes, Debbie, you get it. I love it. Julian, 2 a.m. wherever you are, and you've tuned in. I'm very grateful that you could join me. 2 a.m. That is commitment. I love it. Let me see. If we share a lead magnet and someone signs up, can our affiliate link be included or counted? If we share a lead magnet and someone signs up, we don't have an affiliate program with Beacon. I'm not sure if that's what you mean, but you can include like other affiliate links in your Beacon documents. Like, if that's what you're asking about, you can absolutely do that. Yeah. All right. Well, the questions are petering out. People are logging off. Oh, they keep coming in. Folks, we're finishing up. Future topic, would love to see a before-after case study. Are you adding content upgrades and link locks? Ooh, that's a juicy one, Catherine. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. All right, folks, I'm going to have to call it. There's 42 of you here. No time for no more questions. I got to go eat my dinner. 7 o'clock. You guys have to go and work on some content upgrades. Thank you so much for joining me. I had an absolute blast. So until next time, see you later.